So here's the crux of the issue. The inhuman will take us somewhere better, or we will lose what we have. It is a proposed transformation. Transformation in philosophical discourse is good. I'm up for transformation. I think change is good. I support change. But I'm not ready for the great post-human dissolution yet. I propose that transformative events already happen in the art object, or between the artist and audience in the being of the art object. Shared knowledge is what we refer to as intersubjective phenomenology. The philosophers might take more cognizance of how art works, because then they may not be proposing something like the post-human. What do I mean by intersubjective phenomenology? Quickly, this is Descartes. Descartes proposed in the 17th century in his Meditations, cogito ergo sum, which means, there you go, thanks very much. I think, therefore I am. A philosophy which proposes that we can radically doubt anything else, but as long as we think, we know that we exist. And Descartes proposes this radical doubt as a confirmation of our understanding of ourselves. But of course, this, I think, therefore I am, can lead to solipsism. Solipsism, what is that?
Thank you very much, Paul. Anytime. Solipsism.
What is
solipsism? Solipsism.
What is
that? If you believe the world around you has only been conjured by you,
you are a
solipsist. That's what I've been
experiencing that phenomenon.
No, I'm not. Thanks.
In contrast to the potential solipsism of Cartesian subjectivity, Bishop Berkeley, an Irishman and a fellow Trinity College alumna, proposed esse e percipi. To be is to be perceived. In other words, we only know we exist because other people see us. We could imagine we exist, but it is only because we are acknowledged by the rest of the world that we have an understanding we exist. In other words, if you woke up this morning and went about your business and nobody recognized you, nobody spoke to you, you would, by 11 o'clock, have a radical doubt that you existed. You would assume that it was all over, you had gone somewhere, or maybe this was it for all eternity. You walking around and nobody seeing you. And these two positions have more or less characterized philosophy ever since, in what is referred to as a subjective-objective dichotomy. Remember Plato? Binary opposites, ways that we think, forced to think in these ways. So I'm proposing a different way of thinking that. Intra means from one to the other. Intersubjective, movement across. I'm proposing intrasubjective, which is a kind of a different space that's difficult to describe, but I'll try. This is a line from Simon Beckett's book, Mercier and Camier. It's about two tramps who are hanging out in a park, minding their own business, and then a policeman comes and tries to kick them out, and they wind up assaulting the policeman, then they kill the policeman, and then they're on the run. And we leave them sat in a field wondering what will happen. It's a great book. But when I first encountered this line, I was just blown away by the use of the word among. I just thought, who would use that word? Obviously, I am in the presence of greatness. Among. And then I tried to think, how does that work, among? And try to get a sense of what that might be like. Right? The art object, whatever it might be, appears outside of the artist consciousness. Right? Because the artist gives us something. It's also outside of the audience's consciousness because it's there somewhere in the space between the two. Right? But at the same time, it exists within both and between both. So there's a notion of movement here, of shared space, that I think is worth exploring. Because Descartes is all about, I think, therefore I am, is just me. It's like me, me, me. And Berkeley's kind of thinking, yeah, you know, it's those guys who confirm that I exist. But there's a sense in which I need the confirmation I exist. What's going on in this intersubjective phenomenology thing is maybe that those boundaries are not so clearly determined as we think.